Hello there, running-ears. It's Manny again, and there's not a lot going on in Run Disney. There's going to be some registrations coming up, and I do believe theming for 2026 Princess is going to be coming up very soon. I think the next couple of weeks, and the reason I say that is because I'll be traveling the next couple of weeks, and that's usually when it drops. But don't worry, I will have my video recording stuff, and I will make a reaction video in case I just get there, and I'm going to be there for 4, 5, 6 days, whatever it is. I'll be able to make a video. I'll be able to take a look at it, and I'll share that information with you. So before we get into what's going to go on in this video, so I think this is going to be an interesting topic. I'm going to actually ask you, if you haven't already, we're almost at 2,000 subscribers. Please subscribe to the channel. That way you get the information. Please like the video, give it a thumbs up, and of course hit the notification bell. That way you're notified when these videos get released. We got a few things coming up. I got 2 major announcements at the very end of this video. Well, I call them major, but you know, to me they're major because it's stuff that I do. But one of them is going to be helping you guys so that are trying to raise money for charities. If you're on the fence, you're already raising money, you're not having good luck, and that's what it's mainly going to be about. I'm going to try to help out a little bit. So stay till the very end so that way I can talk to you about what's going to be going on pretty soon. But now with the topic of this video. So earlier today, actually during Princess, I crossed the 1,000 mile run, live miles run, or the magical miles, whatever you want to call them, at Disney. And these are live miles at either Disney World or Disneyland. I have never run at Disneyland Paris. So, and the other people will ask, other parks do have, the ones in China do have runs, but they're not included in the Run Disney. I've never done them anyway, but they're not included in Run Disney. So these are live miles run at Disney World or Disneyland, and I've crossed over 1,000 miles. So I talked to some people earlier this year, and they was, what does it feel like? And now I'm at 1,035 and a half. So that's my official, I keep my countdown, I have my spreadsheet, 1,035 and a half. And I thought to myself, and I remember talking to somebody, and I said, you know what would be pretty cool? A video showing the miles in medals. So that's what this video is going to be, or the majority of this is going to be. I'm going to show you guys the medals over the years, starting in August 31st of 2008, so almost 17 years ago was my first run. I still remember that one. This was at Disneyland. That's why I'm wearing all the nostalgic stuff. This is the only thing I have from that race besides the medal, and you're going to see that shortly. But what I do remember is I almost didn't even do that run. I had actually hurt my foot. I went through all these therapies. I used to work at a gym, so I was there with some physical therapists. They were trying to do stuff. Up until about 5 weeks before the run, I had almost given up. I said, no, I'm not going to be able to run it. I was going with my father. My father said, hey, no matter what, we'll still go. We'll just have fun, and so forth and so on. Then I decided, let me try something different. I put KT tape. Yes, you heard that right. I put KT tape on the bottom of my foot, and I wrapped it around, and within a couple of days, it felt fine. And I started running, and guess what? I was able to run, and you'll be able to see that medal, and it's going to be funny when you see the medal, my time. So that was my first, you know, that started my journey. And when you start your journey, you just don't know where it's going to lead. I did not think I was going to end up being here making these videos. It was my very first run. Yes, I had a history of, I had history as a runner, and I had run a lot of races. I was all-state track back in the day, and I always say about 60 pounds ago. Yeah, that was a long time ago. But so I had a history of being a runner, and I recorded some of the stuff. Things that I regret is I didn't take a lot of pictures. We didn't have social media, so it was harder to know what was going on. The runs have evolved. They didn't have a lot of pictures way back in the day either. So you just didn't know what was going on. I didn't start recording until maybe mid-2010s, and I had the cameras that weren't stabilizing, so it was bouncy. I actually lost a lot of those videos, but I do still have a few. And one of these days I'm going to see if there's going to be any kind of program that stabilizes the video. And so if it is, I'm going to share that with you. But even then, I didn't do a lot of recording. It was here and there. I would actually just record in bursts. And now, as you guys know that follow the channel, I record quite a bit. So I've been through everything. I've been through, and I talked about the live miles. So these are the live miles that I've run. Without further ado, let's go ahead and take a look at the medals. So I start the journey right here. This is my first ever Disney run, the Disneyland Half Marathon, and this was in 2008. And I still remember this one because even though it was my first run, it almost did not happen. I had a bad foot. I could not run. And about 5 weeks before the run, I had already told my father, who went with me, and I said, I don't think I can do this. And he said, oh, no worries about it. And I had tried everything. I had tried therapy. I had tried injections. I tried everything. So finally, about 5 weeks before, I decided to put KT tape on it. Yes, you heard it right. KT tape that they sell there at the expo. And next thing I know is my foot felt fine, so I ran it. And check that out. I did it in 2 hours and 15 minutes. And now I head over here, which I have some Run Disney stuff here. But I also have a bunch of my medals right here, especially some of the coast to coast. My very first coast to coast is here. But the reason I'm showing you this is because this was my very first Disney World run, which is the Wine and Dine. This was the inaugural. You can see that there. Some of these tassels, they fall off, so you have to be very careful with them. But I still remember because that was a nighttime run. And I still remember they had to shuttle us about it was about 4 hours before the run, and we started at Wild World of Sports. So we started where the expo is. We had to go during the day, then we went back at nighttime and we ran, and we actually finished inside the Wine and Dine Festival. So we started at 10 p.m. and a little after midnight is when I finished. I still remember that. It was really hot. I remember cramping up on that run. So I'll start off with the wide shot and I'm gonna go in. So this was my very first marathon, 2012, I believe. So 2011 was my first, or this was, 2012. So 2011 was the Wine and Dine. I think it was 2010 or 2011. Anyways, there's the coast to coast that I did. Okay, so, and I did it. And this was my very first challenge, 2013. So that was my first Goofy challenge that I did. And then the following year, which is coming up, we did the Dopey. But this was my first marathon. I still remember because I had gotten a little sick, but I was able to finish it and actually did it faster than I run them now. So now we're heading here. We'll run for Mickey. So during that year, so when I want to say it was a 2013 run, they announced the very first Dumbo Double Dare, and this was at the expo. So this was at the Walt Disney World Marathon Weekend Expo. So they were selling spots there, so I bought them. So here you go. There you see the Dumbo Double Dare, the inaugural. That's 2013. So yes, it was 2013. So when I did my very first challenge, I also did my second challenge that year. So you see the Dumbo Double Dare, the half marathon medal, which was pretty cool there, the castle. And then, Alice in Wonderland has basically always been the 10K. And also my very first Avengers. So I did the very first Avengers one when there was just a run. And I believe there was not a challenge, but I think they did a 5K. But back then I would only do the longer races. So great movie ride. So now the following year, they did the very first Dopey. And I still remember hearing rumblings because when they did the Goofy Challenge, there was only a 5K. They did not add this 10K until this year, 2014, I believe. Yeah, 2014. So in 2013, it was just a 5K, half, and a full. And the people that did all three, they started referring it to Dopey. So next year, they obliged and gave the Dopey. This is my own shadow box that I made with my times and everything. So it's funny because you see my marathon time, which is 4.5. Now I run them in over 6 because I take my time now. But it's funny too. My half marathon time was like 226 or something like that, 230, something like that. So anyways, it's funny, but these were the bibs for the inaugural, and it says inaugural there. Then I'm going to skip over to some of the Star Wars ones. So these were the Kessel runs. So there was 2 years that they did the Kessel runs. The Kessel runs meant that not only did you do coast to coast and you got the medal for that, but you got the Kessel Run medal because you did both on each coast, and I did the challenges on each coast. So this was 2016, I believe that's 2017. By 2018, they turned it in, oh, it's 2019, I'm sorry. They turned it into obviously by that time Disneyland didn't have them anymore, so they did this and stuff. So they're my medals. You can see some of them are a little bit, they're falling, but they still had the spinners and stuff, so that's it. And you could do the Kessel Run challenge if you did the other one virtually. Well, here is the first Star Wars run. So this is the Rebel Challenge, the inaugural right there. So this was an interesting one. So I actually did this one. So this was actually pretty cool. So this one was interesting to me because this is the one that we did right before the pandemic hit, the 2020, and I did Goofy. My friend Goofy John did it with me, but he did the Dopey. I still remember that. So I would meet him for the first couple of days right after I was already at the park. So he would finish his 5K or his 10K and he'd meet me at the parks. And then of course we ran the Goofy together. So here is 2018, and here are the challenge, the medals, I'm sorry, and it included again a virtual challenge 2018. So the virtual Star Wars, but then the Star Wars half marathon that was still going on at Disney World. So we have these. So yeah, these medals were pretty simple. Kylo Ren, the Stormtrooper, I can't remember what that one's called, and then of course the virtual one. Okay, so that was a very basic one, but that was it for the official Star Wars ones. So before we move on, we want to show you, this was also a Goofy's challenge. So in between I'll have a few of them because we're moving over to Wine and Dine. And so you'll see, you've already seen a lot of the Goofy challenges. For 8 years in a row, I just did Goofy challenges. I did not do the Dopey challenge. I did the inaugural, then I went back at the 10th anniversary. So in between, I was just doing the Goofy challenge. So in this corner, we have Wine and Dine, the Lumiere challenge. I believe this was the inaugural, and you can see my medal started falling. I'm gonna have to fix this pretty soon. So this is it. I'm trying to see if I can see the times. And again, 1:59. So I was under 2 hours on this one. This was less than 10 years ago, which is gonna bring me to something that I'm gonna talk about later on this summer. But yeah, this was the initial Lumiere's 2-course challenge. And so of course I did it. Now I have been perfect for that status already. So that was the inaugural. So this was also another one, but again, this is a few years later, 2019. So this was again the last one before the pandemic because they didn't have it in 2020. But I like that medal. That Mickey medal is really, really cool, the patriotic and stuff. And of course they had Frozen right there. The challenge medal was really, really cool. And I believe those the top ones right there are spinners. So we're not in order, but the 2018, the Wine and Dine right here, that there's a 2-course challenge, the 10K with Sebastian, and then Chef Mickey. Now, a lot of these shadow boxes that I got was a defunct company, I'm trying to remember, Lasting Commemoratives. And they would actually sell them to me at the expo, and then I would put them together. The ones that you saw for the Kessel Run, that was the reason that I got them for the Kessel Run, is because they actually send me the medals also, replica medals also. So I had 2 sets of medals that I would give away. So I had that going on. But it was actually a pretty interesting thing. Lasting Commemoratives, they still exist. They just no longer do Disney stuff. So the last of the Wine and Dine 2-course challenge, this one I really liked. I still remember I had to go back a couple of times at the expo to realize, do I really, really want this? But check this out, it's real nice. And the medals were very, very nice. They were like passports, tickets, that kind of stuff. So that's what they resembled. And so this was Wine and Dine, and this was 2017 2-course challenge. So now we're coming to the last few years, and since I've been doing most of the runs, if not all of them, here are all the medals for again, the 10th anniversary is when I went back to doing that. So this is 2022, I believe this is 2022, 2023 season. That's right. So, so this starts again in the fall and it goes all the way to the following spring. And so this was 2022, some of the cool medals that you can see right there, including the door is open for Monsters Inc. I still remember that one. So now we move over to 2023, 2024, and of course we had the very first Figment medal, which I'm still, now this is a cool medal, like if you look at it, it's Figment in here and Figment out here. And of course this is, I think this still glows in the dark if you turn it on. Let me try it. Yep, it still turns on right there. So I haven't really tried it in a long time, but I even have my challenge medal should be in there somewhere. Okay, but this is, again, I'm starting to meet you guys, and so I put a bunch of the stickers there that I got. This one's kind of falling apart, but I have about 10 more stickers, so that's actually pretty cool. And of course, I put Manny Runs Disney right there. So this was coming up to this last season. So it was not this past season, but the season before. And we conclude the over 1,000-mile journey with this season. Every mile is magical. And I believe I got this on Amazon or Etsy. And so it's got the 2024-2025 season. So it's all right here, including the Halloween run. Again, the chef, the 5K, that was an awesome one right there. Of course, I'm missing my medals for the marathon and the half because I got sick. Didn't run them, but I am noticing also the Hercules. I try to put my favorite, just now that I do this, I try to put my favorite ones facing out so I could see them. But this is basically, now you got an idea of what 1,035 miles looks like in terms of medals. So years ago, they used to sell glasses. Sometimes they still do, but I just wanted to show you some of the stuff that I purchased at the Run Disney events. Now there's some other kind of glasses in here too, but you can see the Avengers one is here, the Wine and Dine. This was 2024, so they still had it there last year and stuff. So this one broke. I still remember I bought this one and it broke during and I'm still trying to see that right there. I'm still trying to see if maybe I can get that fixed, but look at these. So these were the precursors of what they do now. These were the pint glasses, but now they sell them in plastic cups, and then of course they serve you with sell it with beer. I don't know why they don't sell the pint glasses anymore, but I'm gonna show you a few more. So in here, I have quite a bit, including a bunch of Star Wars ones. And lately I've been buying, since they don't have the glasses, I've been buying the mugs. I don't drink coffee. I do drink tea, but you can see, you know, so, but I don't use them. I keep them out here. But look at this. I still have all the glasses, like the Star Wars one back there. These are really, really cool. The Star Wars one right in front here. So I have all these glasses. So this is a cool addition because I still remember there's a couple of things, including that one and this one. This one was a more incredible one. This looks like, it looks dirty, but it's actually part of him. So BB-8, because he's supposed to be dirty. But these were collector's editions that they actually sold at the marathon, Star Wars, whatever weekend it was. Now the difference is that this one had sold out, but the lady told me they had some in the back. So she brought some out and people attacked her. They literally attacked her. I still remember that. And by the time I got up there with her, because she was going to get me one, they were all gone. And so I said, well, it is what it is. And anybody who knows me, that's the way my attitude is. So she reached behind her back and she had one extra one. So I was able to get BB-8. And the last thing I want to show you, the stuff that I have, is magic bands. Now those are the Dooney and Burks and stuff. I love magic bands. I've collected them, the older ones. I don't really get the newer ones. But if you see, we have a Star Wars one right there, 2020. We got 2022. This is Wine and Dine. This was another Wine and Dine, I believe. That was, I think, the one that was defunct, the Princess Weekend 2022. Little by little, they just kind of did away with all of these. And of course, the last one is Every Mile is Magical. But I wish they would bring them back. I don't care for the new ones, and I like the boxings of these, how the boxes are. But I do, now that I remember, I have one more thing to show you. I'm thinking this backdrop would be pretty good. So before all the magic bands, and this one again is a little dirty because it's been in, it's been in my cabinets for a while and stuff like that. But check this out. This is one of the inaugural magic bands, 2016. So it's almost 10 years old. The Run Disney limited edition. I remember they had a blue one also, 2016 right there. Every Mile is Magical. But these were the inaugural, basically, magic bands that you could purchase. And these were the old style magic bands. Thank you so much. That was memory lane. It was so awesome. Again, I still even walk around every once in a while and I look at that medal. I look at, glasses, things that I bought, and I sit there going like, man, I remember that. I remember what happened that day. I remember the rain. I remember it was hot. I remember it was cold. I remember it was perfect, whatever it was. But I had a lot of fun. And what I wanted to do was share my journey. You guys have the story of your journey, so I would ask you if there's something that sticks out in your mind, where you're at your journey, because I know that my journey's not finished yet, and I know yours isn't either. Please comment down below, share that story with us. Again, you guys don't see me, which I'm going to talk a little bit about what I'm planning on doing pretty shortly, but maybe you may be able to see my reaction when you see these comments. But a lot of times, again, when there's a story and it's a really cool, positive story, man, you make my day. day. I smile and I go like, so awesome. And I just, I type it. And again, you get to see what I type, but you don't see my reaction. So that's going to bring me to my next thing that I'm looking at doing. And I'm going to start with this, so that way you guys can see what I'm about to do. But I'm going to start on this. I talked about charity bibs and a little bit about that. So now if you are on the fence about getting a charity bib and how to fundraise and so forth and so on, I've made videos of suggestions, but I have something coming up that might help. So if you want to join in what I'm about to do, or if you need my help, and I'm going to explain what I'm about to do shortly, but I've had this idea in my mind for a while, and now it's coming on less than a month away, so about four plus weeks away, is on June 7th, they are going to be closing. It's going to be the last day of the Muppet Courtyard. And if you remember my video, we ran by it and I said this is the last time we're going to run by it. That was Springtime Surprise in April. So my plan is to spend as much of the day, if not the whole day, at Muppet Courtyard going through Muppet Vision 3D. So I thought, hey, why don't I use this as a fundraiser? So these are thoughts that I had. I calculated that off the top of my head, and this might not be exact. I'm going to try to get the information a little bit closer because I'm going to be there a few days before. But my calculations are there's going to be at minimum probably, unless something they break down or something, there's going to be at least 25 shows of the Muppet Vision 3D. My goal is to get into at least 15 of them. And so I thought to myself, I want to record a video, and I do want to come on live a couple of times, especially on Facebook and maybe even on YouTube, which I'm going to get to in a little bit. But I wanted to record, hey, this is what I'm going to do. So I was going to make a suggestion that if I do something, at least 10 of them, then people would make it. You would pledge to do a $5 donation. Anything above 15 times that I get on it, it would be like a $10 donation. Now here is where I can help you guys out, because I thought to myself, okay, I'm going to be doing it for myself, and I'm going to have a link to my fundraising page. So what you guys can do, if you want to share the information, and then you want to share what this, first of all, this video, and then my Facebook page, the Manny Runs Disney page, and then make sure that they friend me and stuff, and I can do shout outs, I can do different things. Again, they can partake in the video, the live video feeds that I'm going to be doing, and that way, even if it's not you, even if you cannot make it there on the 7th, June the 7th, at all, we can actually do a shout out. So let's say, for example, I have a friend named Joe, or Joe watches the channel. Joe cannot be there, but he has fundraising. He has a fundraising page, and he's having issues trying to raise these. But he knows a lot of people like the Muppet Vision 3D. A lot of his friends, so they can get on my page and say, "Hey, I'll donate $5 to Joe, $10 to Joe if." You record coming out saying, hello, thank you for being here. It's been, a 3-hour glorious, whatever they want to hear. And maybe even a shout out to a loved one, a child, somebody, happy birthday, whatever it is. And just, all they have to do is, again, invite me to not only this channel, but also the Facebook page, Manny Runs Disney, and that way I know that they're there and what their pledge is going to be, so that way I know how to react that day. Now, I hope that makes sense. So again, in my head, I already know what I'm going to do. The whole day I'm going to be there. I'm going to be recording some of it. I'm going to be doing shout outs. I'm going to be doing, and some of these shout outs are going to be for donation. So once they donate to myself or to somebody else's site, I'm going to be doing some shout outs. I'm going to come out live, happy birthday, whatever it is, but we're going to be there till the end. So hopefully get on the last one, the last show. So Muppet Vision 3D. And I hope this makes sense, but this is going to lead me to what I want to do coming sooner than that. So one of the things that I have not done on this channel is gone live. I have gone live on Facebook, and that's why I invite you, go to Manny Runs Disney. I thought about the running ears, but it seems like there's a lot of people on the Manny Runs Disney, and I could probably get a lot more traffic on that site, and so I'm going to do that. But I haven't gone live here. So I thought to myself, that would be awesome if I can go live, especially towards the end of that night, because I do have a surprise. I'm not going to give it away, but there's something that I want to do, and I hope I can do it at the very end, June 7th, the last show, whatever the last show is as we walk out. I was planning on doing something, and if I can do this, I'm going to try to do it on YouTube Live. And I've never done anything on YouTube Live before, except starting this Sunday, I thought to myself, hey, this would be a good chance to kind of test this. So this coming Sunday, which is the 11th, from 7 to at least 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. So that means Pacific would be 5, Eastern would be 8. I am going to go live. I'm going to try this. I'm going to give this a shot. I'm going to try to go live. So I'm going to be there to talk a little bit more about this, interact with you guys. Those of you who know me, you know I love interacting with you guys. So please log on at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. I'm planning on going at least 30 minutes, and if people keep interacting, I may go an hour. That's my plan, but it's going to be practice also. So I'm actually planning on hopefully the next 2 weekends for sure to get on there so I can practice on YouTube Live. And again, I think that would be great because you guys can interact with me and you can sit there and ask questions, give suggestions, whatever it is, just interact, share stories with me. I would just love that. So thank you very much for putting up with me. I'm going to turn it over to you guys. Do you have any questions about what just happened? Are you wanting me to go live? If that's okay, I'm going to test this out to see how it goes. But any questions, any comments, any stories you want to share? I really do want to hear the stories about, you know, your journey, Run Disney. It's been fantastic, magical. It's out of this world for me, and I'm hoping that other people get the same experience as I do. And so that's why I have this channel, continues to grow and so forth and so on. But without further ado, I would just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. Create a magical day, create a magical run, and guys, see you sooner than later.